So I would like to welcome Suvaditya to give us a talk today. He already has been involved with GDGSeattle even last year when he was based in India. He already gave a talk remotely for the Keras Community Day. Yeah, excellent talk. And then I'm very grateful for him to be here in person, traveling all the way from LA to give today's talk about the taking a walk in the model garden. And he will give us an overview on Gemini 1.5 and then Imagine and Vertex AI and GCP. So please welcome him.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Am I audible to everyone? Okay, fair enough. Right, so let me just quickly begin. Margaret gave a very beautiful introduction. My name is Suvaditya. I am originally from India, but currently now I am at the University of Southern California in LA. So yeah, I took a red eye early morning today, and I'm here in Seattle to meet great folks here. So yeah. Quick introduction about myself. As Margaret mentioned, I'm a GD for machine learning, specifically TensorFlow Core and Keras, but I also specialize with JAX and PyTorch. I also work in ML roles in USC, specifically at the USC School of Cinematic Arts and the USC Institute of Creative Technologies. Right, that's all about me. Right, for today's talk, I'm gonna be covering the following things. Just by a show of hands, I just want to get some idea of the demographic here. How many of you folks here are students? Okay. How many of you folks are students and working, like maybe on an internship, on-campus jobs, or the like? Okay. Okay, fair enough. And how many are just working here? Okay, good stuff. How many of you folks have had introductions to cloud or have used GCP, Azure, or AWS before? Oh, that's a good number. Okay. And what about AI? Have you tried ChatGPT? Of course. Okay, now I want truthful answers. How many of you have used Gemini? Okay, better than other places. How many of you have used Claude? I'm really curious. That's a good number. Okay. Right. So quite a few of you already have some idea of LLMs, right? You all know at least how to interface with LLMs and maybe ask questions, get answers, work with an LLM, and just get tasks solved. So I'm just going to dive a little bit deeper and show what really goes under the hood. What is AI? What is generative AI? A famous Marvel dialogue, why is generative AI? Just a reference. For the students around here, I want to touch about why it's beneficial to you and also for the folks who are working. Then I'm going to jump into Vertex AI, which is the AI suite of GCP, followed by its specialized part of Model Garden. Lastly, we're going to look at a very small demo about how you can interface programmatically using the Vertex AI SDK. And lastly, I'll just give you some ideas on where you can go further using the ideas that we discussed today. So, of course, you all just saw it, but let's say you did not read that. Also, before I begin, let's keep this interactive. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. You can ask me questions, and please feel free to interrupt me during the talk. Yeah, that's the definition of AI that ChatGPT tells me. So it's basically self-defining itself. What about you guys? What do you think AI is really all about? If you don't read that, any definitions, any thoughts? What do you think? Yeah.
Bunch of if-else statements.
I wish it was that. I wish it was that. It would have been very easy to execute. We wouldn't have to use so many GPUs. All right. Yeah.
When a computer does something by itself.
Once again, please.
Say when you're playing a game against the CPU.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. That's an application of AI. Of course. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
Collection of statistical assumptions.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. Okay. Anyone want to make a last try? Yeah.
When you use your smartphone, say Google Photos,
Mm-hmm.
you try to erase a person.
Of course, yeah. That's a very good application of AI again. So when you talk about AI, the general abstract definition is what you see over there, that it's simulation of human intelligence. The entire goal from the beginning for AI has been to try and simulate human intelligence, human tasks. We haven't even reached the capability of simulating tasks that can be solved by, I don't know, let's say cats or dogs yet. Yet our target is human and maybe even superhuman after a certain point. So yeah, when we talk about tasks like these, where you have a human looking at these scenes and doing the same things, you see the snippet of, let's say, I don't know, it's moving too fast, but basically, let's say the football scene. You're seeing the football, you're seeing the goalposts, and the first thing you can think of is the fact that, hey, I need to shoot the ball inside the goal, right? Similarly, you're stuck in traffic. You see the car in front of you, you identify the fact that it's a car, right? We might find it to be very trivial that, hey, it's a car. Okay, fair enough. That's a table. This is a laptop. That's trivial for us. But it takes much more time and much more bandwidth for a computer to understand or reason about why this is a laptop, why that is a table, and why that should be a car and maybe not, let's say, a horse, right? It takes some kind of capability to do that. The end goal of AI has been to make computers think as quickly as humans do, maybe even better, right? So yeah, that was basically what AI is all about. But then, what is generative AI? Generative AI is a subset within AI that talks about generations, right? LLMs. Of course, you have used LLMs. How many of you have used stable diffusion here before, or have heard of it? Okay. How many of you have heard of diffusion models in general? Okay. So for the folks who are uninitiated, diffusion models are basically tools that allow you to describe a scene in text and generate the image directly. We are going to see that happening today during the demo. Generative AI will allow you to generate images, text, audio, video, whatever you like. There's not really any modality left right now that we are not generating as of today, right? So there are different models, different types of models that do all of this. LLMs, LDMs, or latent diffusion models, as we were talking about, and so on. That's an example of what you can generate. That was generated using AI. There's no human making that. That's just AI creating that, right? Just by describing the scene, I'm able to create this. So for folks who are maybe in the creative industries or are like even marketing, the possibilities are endless, right? So that was a very brief introduction again to generative AI. But why is generative AI? There are many questions that rise with generative AI. First, popular. Is generative AI popular according to you guys? Raise of hands. Okay, why do you think it's popular? Don't read from there, guys. I can see you all reading there. I mean, I know the answers are right there, but okay, fair enough. I mean, I want to hear you guys. Why do you think it's popular? Once again?
ChatGPT, OpenAI.
Fair enough. I mean, ChatGPT, fair enough. I agree. But what about ChatGPT made it so popular? Yeah?
You can ask it freely to be judged.
Fair enough. That's a very valid answer, yeah?
Very conversational.
Conversational. Yes, 100%. Yeah?
It's very rapid and you can get a lot done in a very short amount of time.
100%.
So a lot of things can be done with a human, but if you ask ChatGPT,
much quicker. Yeah. Yeah?
It's effective and legal.
Legal. No, not until long. Yeah.
I think until ChatGPT or before then, typically you have to have some knowledge about AI, and now you have to play with some of the code and no Python. But ChatGPT was really the first time, like your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, your children,
exactly,
kids, everybody can have that AI in your hand and play.
100%. So whatever the points you raised, all of that boils down to what I wrote down: ease of use, right? It made it easy for anyone to just pick up and get started with AI, right? Something that was veiled this entire time was now, unraveled for everyone to use. Second, is generative AI useful? Raise of hands again. I want to hear from the guys who did not raise their hand. Why do you think it's not useful? For my own knowledge, I saw a few folks not raising hands. I don't want to point them out. Yeah.
Taking on the jobs.
Taking all our jobs. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
They sometimes lie.
Sometimes lie. Hallucinations. Absolutely. What else? Anyone? Yeah.
I don't know. I found that students are using it too much. So.
Fair enough. I use it. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. People cheat on exams. Trust me. All right. So, okay. The argument stands that, it's first off taking your jobs. It's being used too much in places where it shouldn't be. And the trust factor is low due to hallucinations. All fair points to be raised. But on the other hand, do you think it's, for the folks who said that it's useful, I want to hear from them too. Why do you think it's useful? Why is it useful to you? Yeah?
It's the cheapest personal assistant in
Yeah, you don't have to pay like minimum wage or stuff, it's just free. Yeah. Yeah?
If I like to do things that otherwise you wouldn't. For example, if I'm not an artist, I wouldn't be able to create probably a logo or a so the anime character.
Yeah.
Be able to create it just for a prompt.
Right. Fair enough.
It's a good PA.
It's a good PA. Of course. Of course. Yeah?
It can help you revise some AZ or correct your grammar.
100%.
I even see some users use it to train it to talk with you and even flirt with you.
Yeah, that's a completely separate thing that does happen there. I mean, yeah, I don't want to go into further. All right, yeah. So you're right. See, it's useful. It's useful in several different domains. There's business use cases that currently use generative AI. Think about chatbots. You have chatbots almost on every website right now. Amazon has Rufus. You have, Google. I don't want to name Google again. Amazon and Rufus, so many others, right? So many chatbots out there. Almost every site has a chatbot available that runs on generative AI. I don't know if you all know about this, but I think back in 23 October, November, there was this one case where a Chevrolet dealership had a generative AI chatbot. And some guy prompted the chatbot to say that I'm going to give you a Chevrolet car for free.
For $1.
For $1, yeah. For $1 or free or something like that. And the company had to honor that. So they ended up incurring the loss. It is just something that, people talk about as like a negative case of using generative AI too freely, which again plays into the fact that, hey, hallucinations happen, right? So yeah, it's useful, but only if it's done in the right measure, right? Last, it's hated. How many folks think it's hated? Please raise your hands. 3 folks think it's hated. 4, 5. Okay, 5 folks think it's hated. Everyone else thinks generative AI is just perfect. Come on, be honest. Okay. Why do you think it's hated? The folks who did raise their hands.
Because he said like chatbots.
Okay.
It's like I just type like human. Just feel like it answers all the same stuff.
Fair enough.
It doesn't have the answer to my question.
Yeah, it's like when the assistant just keeps giving wrong answers again and again. Yeah, you're right. Perfect. So what I've written here basically is just playing back to what I think the gentleman there said, that there's a certain hatred that comes around because it's taking your jobs. There is this notion that people think that, hey, generative AI is taking your jobs. And I won't deny that might be possible. Yes. With more advances, yes. But on the flip side, it's also making your job easier. It's how you look at the same coin. You look at the Like you flip the coin, it's your choice, right? So, I mean, that's again personal opinion. Please take it with a pinch of salt, but yeah. Right. There's good uses and then there's harmful uses. I mean, I don't know what, I want to, okay, just as a fun experiment, is this a good use or a bad use?
Depends.
Some says, I like the person who said depends, right in the middle. Good or bad? Good. Fair enough. Okay. I mean, there's no right answer for this. So when it comes to using generative AI, there are some risks that inherently come with using it. Just as I mentioned, the Chevrolet incident. Or in general, the fact that AI has been thought to take over the world, Terminator, Skynet, the entire thingamajig. That is quantified as something called AI risk or X risk. That's the term that's used for that. But if you look at more toned down versions of X risk, some good uses and bad uses exist against those definitions. Good uses include business chatbots, of course, when it's done right. Portrait generation, folks use generative AI, the image side of generative AI, to generate good headshots that they put on LinkedIn and stuff. Then there's information summarizing. Students love that, right? You can generate quick summaries of complete textbooks, notebooks, the works. It's very helpful for everyone involved. But there are some bad uses too, as creating deepfakes. This is just Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. There's not going to be a lot of impact. I mean, there will be. I'm not anyway. But think about other folks that may be, deepfaked onto these videos. That can be dangerous, right? That's a risky way of using AI. And those are the kind of, use cases that you need to regulate on. So yeah, that's that. Along with the disinformation campaigns, this disinformation is also a very easy way to, riskily use generative AI. So yeah, that was basically a very brief, okay, not so brief, idea around why generative AI is so talked about. Why does it benefit you? If you're a student, well, students love to make projects, make awesome projects with generative AI. Companies love generative AI right now. The AI, generative AI, I think 127 times Sundar Pichai said it at Google I/O, so I'm pretty sure they love it. If you're a researcher, it's an active area of research. There's tons of research opportunities around machine learning and deep learning in different fields, applied AI and so on. So if you're a student and interested in research, that's a great place to begin. And in general, if you are someone who loves tinkering with things, AI is a very good place to start with. But if you're a professional and you're looking to, upskill yourself, you can apply it to business use cases. Again, chatbots are the most simple option, but there are many cases where people are using generative AI to forecast things as well. They are using generative AI to solve for recommendations on, let's say, we're in Expedia, so I'll say flights and hotels. You want to see what the person is searching for, and then maybe tell you that, hey, it seems like you're searching a lot of, let's say, beach photos or beach ideas. Let's say I'll send you to Cancun or something like that, right? Solve large human scale problems. The beauty of AI is the fact that it's extremely scalable in terms of inference. I'm not talking about the training side. That's a big pain yet. That's a pain point that will probably be solved further down the line. But inference is still something that can be applied at scale. So yes, you can solve large human scale problems with it. And lastly, cut down on costs. You have menial jobs, you can automate it with AI. Yeah, I'm again saying the fact that you are going to lose your job. Hopefully you're not one of them. Or you can use AI and then say that, hey, I'm using AI. So that's another thing. Right. So now that we've given like a very 10,000 feet level overview of what AI is, what generative AI is, and the like, I want to jump into what Vertex AI is. Vertex AI is the unified platform from GCP that allows you to perform any task related to generative AI. The entire AI ML stack, when it comes to ML ops, begins with something like this. ML generally begins with data. Good data is the genesis of ML, right? So you first need to make sure that your data is ready, followed by some feature engineering, because if your data is not in the right format, machine learning algorithms cannot capture patterns. And if they cannot capture patterns, they will not give good results. There's a very common saying in ML, garbage in, garbage out. If your data is garbage, your results will be garbage. It's as simple as that. So you want to make sure your data is ready and in the right format. Then you start training it. You train it, you get good results, you perform tuning on it to get even better results based on what you've seen before. But then you look towards serving your models. Your models are not meant to be like a test tube. They're meant to be deployed out in the open. That's where model serving comes into play. Following model serving, you want to perform understanding. Why does the model give a certain result? You want to know that as well. Because if the model gives a wrong result, you want to make sure that you correct for that. That is done using understanding. Then edge. Now, if you have, let's say, a few million folks using your AI-based service, that's challenging. That's challenging on you to manage the compute. But what if you could make your AI model small enough to run on every user's device? That's helpful. That's called edge. It's called deploying on the edge. And that's what you want to do. Model monitoring. Your model, let's say right now that Amazon is recommending you sweaters because it's about to be winter now. But if it gave the same recommendation of a sweater right when summer is beginning, would you like it? Yes or no? Why will you not like it? It's not winter. Okay, but I'm still recommending you the right thing. You like it at one certain point of time. Why are you not liking it now?
I might like it, but I won't buy it.
Fair enough. All right. So the underlying idea what I'm trying to drive home is recommendations on, sorry, my bad. User preferences change. You might like sweaters in the winter, but you're gonna basically feel hot just by seeing one in the summer, right? So managing for that, you need to perform model monitoring. You need to keep an eye on the model and the kind of results it's giving. And then change the model or retrain the model accordingly. That is model management. So all of these different steps that come, the steps that I just mentioned, all fall under the same thing called the MLOps lifecycle. This is called the MLOps lifecycle. How many of you have come across DevOps here? No, like raise your hands. Few of them. DevOps. Okay, few of them. Yeah. Okay. How many of you have used Docker here before? Few. How many of you have used virtual environments? Decent numbers again. How many of you have used virtual machines? Okay, better numbers. When you have virtual machines, you like how simplistic they are in terms of managing dependencies, right? You don't have to worry about, okay, there's one package here that will not work with another package in a different machine. You're okay with that because the applications are running on different VMs, right? So you won't have to care about them intermingling again and again. Now I want to bring you to the idea of, let's say, Docker, right? Docker will allow you to do similar things, but with containers. Containers being self-contained units that can run certain executable software. DevOps is the idea of handling different kinds of workloads using containers. Generally, not just containers, you can do a lot of things. But yeah, containers is like the more standard approach nowadays. DevOps will allow you to do that. And now MLOps is just doing the same thing specifically for machine learning, where you're just doing machine learning tasks with different stages that end up being in a cycle. This entire thing is a cycle. Model management will run back to data readiness. You need to make sure that your data, the recommendation data that you train the next model on, needs to be tuned for the summer, not for the winter again. You're not going to be using the same data again, are you? So it needs to again run the entire pipeline and so on and so forth again and again until it's a continuous process. It does not stop, right? All of this can happen on GCP using Vertex AI. You do not need to like run across different platforms. GCP has all of it. This is the complete stack of generative AI on GCP. You have tons of different things here, and they are tailored for your level of requirements. If you're like a power user or a super user, you can go right down and train your own models. But let's say you just want to, experiment with. You just want to know whether generative AI fits a use case. You can be at the very high level and just use the solutions GCP provides for you. You don't need to sit and train models on your own. That's bygone era. Similarly, there might be some folks who are, at the middle of this entire stack where they do want to train some models, but they don't want to fish out which models to train or what the architecture should be or something like that. They can use something in the middle as well. So for every different level, you have different requirements and thus different solutions. So that's the GCP and generative AI stack. What the talk is about today is the model garden, which is over there towards the bottom. But yeah, this should be pretty good. Right. Model garden. The Vertex AI Model Garden is a one-stop shop. That's just the way it is put. This one-stop shop has everything you need. You want to try image generation? There's a model for that. You want to try generating text? There's a model for that. You want to generate videos? There is a model for that. You want to tune a model to generate just cat images? You can do that using Model Garden. You want to generate text that is relevant only to, let's say, a finance background, let's say. You can do that as well. You can not only use, but fine-tune these models that are available directly through the Model Garden by providing either your own data or some publicly available data or the like. And all of this, you don't have to do it programmatically. All of this can be done using the console. So it's pretty much very easy to work with. There's API access also available if you want to, maybe, deploy it somewhere and make requests. That's also possible. You don't have to worry about the compute. These models are obviously very heavy. You don't have to sit and think, okay, where should I be running these workloads? Or what kind of GPU should I be using for XYZ model? Those are problems that you don't want to solve at this scale. Those are far lower. So GCP handles that for you. Yeah. Vertex AI has several different pre-trained models for different tasks. You have conversation, language, vision, structured data. Let's say you're, playing with a Kaggle competition. How many of you have used Kaggle before here? Okay, one folks. Two. Kaggle is a platform where you can host ML competitions, and many interesting ML problems of our time have been solved on Kaggle. There was a very famous competition a while back which ended up with a solution, an award-winning solution that was able to read scrolls that were burnt during the volcanic eruption of Pompeii. You could read the scrolls that were burnt, charred, and that was solved using ML. That was done by some random Kaggle. They're not so random anymore, but yeah. That's the possibility of such a platform. That happens on Kaggle. Now, several different problems are tabular in nature. It depends. Your data might be of any form. There is most probably a model available for that. So when you have data as a business, your last goal is to derive value out of it. That's what you're doing. That's what GCP allows you to do. Right from data to value, a straight pipeline. That's what will allow you to, go right from just having raw data to actionable intelligence that you can use to optimize your business. right? And it helps every person in the entire journey, data engineers, ML engineers, product managers, all of them, right? So now I want to show you a demo. This demo, I'm just gonna hope that it, yeah, okay. Is this visible? Ah, yeah, perfect. Is this visible for everyone? Should I zoom in? Zoom in? All good? Okay. Too big? Or it's fine?
Why do you have cats?
Oh, those. they're my pets. They're my digital pets now. Yeah, my house isn't big enough to have pets, so I have them on collab. I can't help. Right. So this experiment, this demo is very short, in which I'm just going to show you how you can generate text, how you can ask questions about an image from text, with text, and how you can generate images. And I'm going to take some help from you guys for the last one. So just going to do first installing some platform dependencies. I hope this is not running on a yeah, it's not. Yeah, until all of this happens, please feel free to ask any questions. Like this might take a bit of time. Yeah?
So, I haven't really got into AI ML, but the thing that I constantly see is very Python based. Is this something that is going to change?
That everything is Python based?
Yeah.
Again, this is a matter of personal opinion, but I don't think it will, because Python has hit that sweet spot where it's very easy to use, but performant enough because people are using C++ under the hood or Rust under the hood. So like it's hit a very sweet spot right now. So I don't think it'll change, at least for now.
Can I just ask?
Yeah.
If you want to write this code, yes, it's Python based, but it doesn't mean you have to learn Python.
Exactly.
You learn AI machine learning. To give you an example, for example, there's TensorFlow.js, and also I/O recently announced as Fire-based GenKit, which I think is what supports TypeScript.
Yeah.
Actually, not supporting Python.
Yeah.
So you don't learn Python.
Yeah. There's no restriction. It's not a restriction that, hey, you have to learn Python. No. In fact, you could do this with curl. If you're like a, masochist that way, please go ahead and do it with curl, or use Postman if you're normal. But yeah, basically you can do any of this using any language you want. This is just sending requests, right? If you want to dive deeper, then yes, you might have to work a bit with Python. But again, as Margaret said, you can also use up to a certain level, TensorFlow.js or Firebase GenKit. Right, this seems to work. Okay. What do you see on the screen right now? We're just importing Vertex AI, that's the SDK. We're importing generative model part and image. They're just classes. I'm hoping, of course, folks are familiar with simple OOP here. Right. Over here, we are using Gemini 1.5 Flash. It is a smaller model compared to the normal Gemini 1.5 that you might see on, let's say, gemini.google.com. The benefit of a smaller model is the fact that it's very quick in its inference, as you're going to see right now. This is a question that is there as their standard one. What's a good name for a flower shop that specializes in selling bouquets of dried flowers? But this is boring. I want you all to give me a question. Please shoot, any one of you. I mean, I could probably help you with that. But yeah, maybe something more general, perhaps.
Highest point in Seattle.
Once again?
Highest point in Seattle.
Okay. I cannot say it was in the training data or not. What's the highest point in Seattle? Is that the right question? Okay, let's see. I hope my code does not break. Just like demos do. It's crazy. Okay, so first time it's gonna end like, yeah, okay. There you go. The highest point in Seattle is Mount Rainier. I am not someone from Seattle, so I cannot confirm. Please, if someone can, that would be great. Which is actually located about 55 miles southeast of the city, not technically within the city. Okay, within the city, that would be Queen Anne Hill. Okay, I mean, Gemini saved me. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it can answer simple questions. Let's say, but you want to ask more and more. Yeah, please.
How many R's in strawberry?
Once again? Once again, I'm so sorry.
How many R's? Letter R's in strawberry?
That's a trick question. Yeah. Yeah. How many R's? How many letter R's are there in the word strawberry? Let's see. I'm not sure. It was right. 3.
When you take out the letter.
Once again?
Take out the letter.
The word letter?
Yeah.
Yeah, then it might falter. I was a bit smart with the prompt. Still, it's right. Yeah, it's smart enough. I guess they realized that the trick question is coming, so they just cleaned it out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's that, right? Now I want to move on to asking questions about images. Okay? Now, this is the image I'm sending to the model. What is this? Space Needle. So quickly, everyone's answered. Space Needle. Like, of course.
Did you take that photo today?
I did not. I did take a Space Needle photo, but not this one, of course. This is from Wikimedia Commons. So I cannot take this good a photo. I mean, the weather wasn't this good, but yeah. So here we are. We take the image URL. We just download the image and we pass it to the model and ask, what is shown in this image? Note the fact that there is no information given to it about whether it's in Seattle, whether it's wherever. Like, what, it doesn't even know what it is. It might even just assume that it's a pin for all it cares. The image shows the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. The iconic tower is seen against a blue sky with a few clouds in the background. Were there clouds in the background? I don't see any clouds. Never mind. The photo was taken from a distance, showcasing the tower and surrounding cityscape. The Space Needle is a popular tourist attraction in Seattle, known for its unique design and breathtaking views of the city. And you get sound? I'm not very sure. Yes? I do not know about the pronunciation. Apologies. Yeah, but yeah, basically, yeah.
I can ask another question.
Sure, of course.
I would like to ask, so when the upcoming election.
Yeah, no, I'm not asking that. Yeah. Anything else you all maybe want to ask about the image?
How expensive is to get on top of this thing?
I can answer that one, $46. But yeah, I think it might not be able to answer this. What is the ticket price to go to the top of the structure in the photograph provided? I'm pretty sure it may not be able to answer this. Holy shit.
So it's very old.
It's very close.
But it at least understands the question, right?
It understood, not only understood, it gave a very close estimate. Yeah, I think you were saying something.
If you ask how many people are in the image?
How many people are in the image? Sure.
Quick question before you change the
Yeah?
So what did it do over there? It said, it got the answer right. It said 39.4 and then for general admission. What is happening over there?
Oh, that's just some markdown rendering issue. That's, yeah. Yeah?
I was going to say, could you ask it how old it is?
Once again, please.
How old is the Space Needle?
Sure. I can do that as well. How old is the structure given in the photograph provided? Is that right? I don't know if it's right. It's right? Okay. But it didn't do the math wrong. The math's wrong. Did someone notice that? 1962. We are in 2024. 22 years. Yeah.
You asked if there's any humans in the picture.
Yeah, about to do that. It might hallucinate. I'm not very sure, but can't hurt to ask. How many humans are there in this picture? I'm almost gaslighting it. I'm just saying, oh, okay. There are no humans visible in the image. It knows. Yeah?
So regarding the implementation of the model, is it like you have some set of the images on which the model is trained, and then you got that set in order to, like, if you want to add some infection in the features, you gotta like
retrain
them and then retrain it, or it's like it uses some kind of an engine underlying the model that can search for the images.
That's a very good question. Currently, Gemini, the one that we are using here, does not have internet access. If it did have internet access, it would have been able to do what you said about engines, where it will be first searching the image through general Google image search, using the results from that and then answering your question. But the model that we are using now is actually trained on images and text together at the same time. So what it has in itself is, generally speaking, a cognitive ability to understand what the image has. And the more probably than not, Space Needle was in the training data that Google used for training this model. Yeah?
I just want to add something to your question. If you use Gemini, the app, or ChatGPT, the app, it does go also to the internet.
Yeah, that does go to the internet. ChatGPT or Gemini on the app.
I mean, how it works, so you want to say you just prompt some what's asked the search engine. Let's say it's a Google, and then it gets some images, and then it scans those images.
Pretty much.
Tries to find them.
Pretty much.
Patterns,
yeah.
And then right. But
that's what would happen generally in the Gemini app. Yeah.
Like some models, I know they don't rely on third-party search engines.
This is the same example.
So it's just like, if you can, within the model, you can try to keep adding the images within the model without training it as a built search engine.
Yeah.
And keep searching. So I'm just asking it the same, not like
it is.
Without forming the internet. So you have like separate database of images.
Yeah.
And then you have like the search engine built into your model. And then you can just like keep adding without training. You can keep adding images without training.
So the pattern that you're talking about is called retrieval augmented generation, where you're trying to have like a database of, let's say, images or maybe even text, and then you're trying to retrieve those images closest to what you are currently using, and then generating some answer based on that. That's retrieval augmented generation. This is not doing that. This is generating pretty much brute force, where you're just giving the image, it tries to reason about what's in the image and gives you an answer with some certainty or confidence. Yeah, sure. Anyone else want to ask a question, or should go to the next one?
Interesting. What is the average size of the data that being trained?
Good question. There are not a lot of data points for that, but generally in the open source domain, similar sizes of models train on at least 10 billion tokens or 10 billion pieces of text and images together.
So I want to add this as well. For large language models, a lot of the large language models, generally they're trained on all the text from the internet, the base model. And then you fine tune to whatever the tasks you want to do. And then I think what Suvaditya is doing this particular demo that's offline, it's sort of like you have image captioning, right?
Yeah.
First you caption, and then there's LLM also try to answer the question because you say how many humans or how old is the structure.
Yeah.
First it's probably going to find out that is Space Needle in the picture. Then the LLM
it's able to understand. Yeah. So there are multiple levels to it. First, it's reasoning as to what the image is really about, and then trying to figure out information about it. It's first identifying that, hey, it's the Space Needle, and then it's trying to find out information about said Space Needle.
It's like understanding the picture and converting it into text, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sort of.
And then it's like understanding if the people are there, right?
If I might give you a more accurate answer, do you know about vector spaces? Vector spaces. It's a linear algebra concept, vector spaces. Yeah, so when you have, so basically all of, when you take an image, right, the model is first converting your image into a certain point in an n-dimensional vector space. Now, what happens is the text it's generating is the most closest text points that are there in the said vector space. That's what's really happening under the hood.
There's like a circles, and if the point is like closer to
pretty much training a model, when we say in a very abstract yet accurate answer, is trying to optimize these points to have them close enough to each other so that they're able to pair correctly. Training is basically that, where it's trying to get the 2 points for so many concepts together in one space in n dimensions close together. That's what training is all about. Yeah, I think 2 gentlemen over there. Yeah,
I'm actually a couple slides late, but
no worries.
There's a box in the top right about what risk AI.
Yeah.
Is that the censorship box essentially? What is that?
X AI?
Risk.
X risk, yeah.
Risk AI, yeah.
X risk is generally around, yes, censorship. But I think X risk is more defined towards the larger debate in question, where folks are trying to reason about whether AI has currently the ability to, annihilate humanity and things like that. So there are folks in the research side of AI who think that AI already does have enough power to do that. And somewhere they are right. I mean, you could, in theory, please do not sue me or anything. You could make a disinformation campaign that could throw the election using AI.
I meant that as part of the process.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that like a separate process, bot, or whatever? I mean, like I said, it was a few slides ago on top. It looked like it was actually part of the process of in the first place.
Oh, risk assessment.
No, just risk AI.
This one, correct?
No. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You were actually going through it. But, okay. So that is like a process, but is that something that's, I'll take that. I mean, it's a part of every AI solution.
Yes. It's more of like something that you should be mindful about, rather. I think that's a better way to say. It's something that everyone should be mindful about when using generative AI. If you're it's very similar to the Google saying that don't be evil. Don't be evil and use generative AI for what I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I keep on this bit.
Yeah, sure.
So it was the other side of it. I thought it was part of like the Google processes. You had all the boxes there. One of them was risk AI.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there was.
Is
Yeah.
that like a censorship box for the rest of it? Or, I mean, is it something you set
up? There are 2 ways to put that. One might say censorship, one might say safety checking. That's what we call it, safety checking within GCP. But yes, to a certain point, it is subjective as to what is censorship and what is safety. So yeah, I mean, that's another debate that I don't want to go in.
Is that trainable?
I believe so. Currently, yes, but then you have to provide the right kind of data for it to be fine-tunable. It's already trained. Fine-tuning is your responsibility if you want to do that.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to find out if you want to learn a bit more about it. You just look up like AI alignment.
Yeah.
That's the terminology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Big deal.
Yeah, alignment. Yeah, perfect. I think that you had a question. So sorry.
Mine is, I kind of know we can do this, but I was just thinking about historical stuff. Like the space needle hasn't always looked the same. It has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So asking it about questions such as like, can you determine what year this picture was taken from, or stuff like how many times has the saucer section changed colors since,
I do not know the answer to that, but yeah. No, I do not know the answer to that, but I mean, fail fast, learn fast. So can you tell me how many times can you probably phrase this for me so I'll type it out?
How many times has the saucer been repainted, I guess, or changed colors?
Well, cannot be answered from the given image. Images of the Space Needle, the number of times has been repainted is not visible in the image, which is, okay, kind of a dumb answer, but yeah. I mean, there are limitations. I mean, it can't know everything. And
Can it determine what year? Like, can you tell me what year this picture is?
that is a question.
I mean, I can tell it's 2011 because it says it right there.
Yeah. Can you determine the year in which this photograph was taken? I'm guessing it cannot. I mean, I could just say that the photo was taken between 67 and 24. I mean, that's still a valid answer, but yeah. Yeah, I think you had a question.
I have another question now. So why does it say this answer? Why does it say between, is that the training data?
What is?
Years, 1999 and 2010.
Yeah.
Is that the range for the training data? No.
Generally, yes. I mean, anything that the answers consist.
You can add this to the end, right? Explain your answer.
Yeah, I can. It's all Gemini, it's not me. I'm not responsible for what it says. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically, if you, yeah.
How you ask the question.
Pretty much.
Like
yes. So that goes into the study of something called prompt engineering, where, you know, giving the right words in a prompt also matters a lot in the kind of answers it generates. If you just tell it, answer in a JSON, answer in JSON format, it'll actually give you a JSON, right? So the kind of words you provide it will pretty much determine the kind of outputs it gives. All right, let's move on. Okay, last piece of demo. Just gonna run a few little housekeeping things. Once again, continue. That's taking quite long. Any questions until that time? This clearly takes, yeah.
So the questions we were asking the model earlier, would you say they were a bit unfair because the training data was only images and what the images are? But if we ask it questions like, what year was this photo taken, or how many times was it repainted? That data, it's not really in the training data, so is it fair to ask this kind of questions? Like, should we expect it to be able to answer them?
Good question. That's a subjective one because the field of AI generally is one that's very well known for shifting goalposts. Back in 1999, they said that, okay, not 1999, maybe 1970s, they said that AI in its best form would be able to recognize images, recognize digits from an image. Once they were able to do that, they said AI will be able to talk like a human. Then came ChatGPT, then they're like, it just keeps shifting goalposts, right? So the question of being fair or unfair is, again, very subjective. You can ask questions that are objectively given in the image, and those would be fair game, right? Just as we asked whether there's a human in the image or not. That's a very fair question to ask. Asking what year the structure was made in was also probably fair to ask. But asking what year the painting happened or something of that sort might be a bit unfair to ask because it may not be able to, you know, infer that directly from it. It's more of like an esoteric piece of information that may not be in the training data. You can expect some parts of it to be in there, but not everything. So yeah.
In that case, I expected to
Tell you what? I cannot answer you. Yeah, so it does. In some cases, it does, right? There was that one question where we asked, can you tell me? And I think the first answer it gave was that I cannot tell you, right?
immediately ask gave it to me, I was like, okay, they came out with that.
Prompt engineering for you. There are many ways to do the same thing, so it's quite curious.
What is this?
Okay, wait. I think we're in the. Okay, it's done. Finally, there we go.
Yeah, that's hard.
I told you we'd get there.
There's no right
Okay. Now, okay, I do have Imagine now. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I want some of you to come up with some random prompts that you want to see generated. Shoot me with your weirdest ones. I've heard really bad ones, so just go ahead.
Strawberry made from ours.
Once again?
Strawberry made from ours.
Strawberry made from?
Ours.
The letter R's? Oh, okay. Okay, what else? I want like a list of 10 prompts that we're gonna generate one by one and see.
Seattle ice cream.
The Space Needle like an ice cream. Why not? Space Needle, no wait. Chocolate ice cream in the shape of the Seattle Space Needle. Okay. I mean, if you want a different flavor, we can change, yeah?
Can I challenge it? Tell it to generate an 18 class symbol.
A what?
18 class symbol. I can spell it.
Yeah, please do.
It's
A D
IN KRA.
KRA.
Yeah, symbol.
Okay. Yeah.
Google lighting experience.
I'm not gonna do that. No, Google won't do that. There are safety checks in place. And I won't do it either. No, go on. Yeah. What else?
So, human riding unicorn.
Once again, please.
Human riding unicorn and surfing.
Human riding. No, okay.
Unicorn maybe was fired out of the mouth and surfing.
I like this one.
Okay. Good one. What else?
Dolphin jump into the volcano.
Once again, I'm so sorry.
Dolphin jump into volcano.
Okay. I like your imagination.
Just do 5 because
We have to.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. All right, so we have 5. We have a strawberry made from the letter R, chocolate ice cream in the shape of a space needle, a Dinkra symbol, a man riding a white shiny unicorn with fire coming out of the mouth while surfing off of the coast of San Diego, and dolphin peeking out of a volcano with red hot lava. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I mean, it did the opposite. It made an R with strawberries, which is hilarious, but okay, it does something. Okay. Let me see if I can do this. I mean, it'll just make a brown space needle, I think. I'm not sure. It'll just make like a brown space needle and call it a day. It's an interesting interpretation, if you ask me. The prompt is chocolate ice cream in the shape of the Seattle Space Needle. It just made a Seattle Space Needle and chocolate ice cream next to it. Fair enough, I guess.
We run it again, let's see.
Once again?
We run the same prompt, let's see.
Once again?
Yeah.
Okay. It might make some differences, yes. If you set the seed to be the same, oh wait. Yeah, if you set the seed to be the same, then it will be able to make the same thing again and again. But if you don't, then I have not set the seed same, so it might vary. It just made chocolate ice cream with like a white chip, which is okay. I mean, it looks delicious. Yeah, this one, I think, I'm not very sure of what will happen unless safety checks kick in. I'm not very sure. Okay, it did not kick in. There is a result. Is this the right one? I'm going to Google it.
To some extent. That wasn't what I was looking for. But yes, they look something like that.
Okay, there are quite a few ones.
Yeah.
We can give it a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. The complex one comes right in. Let's see. We're pushing Imagine to its imaginative limits now.
This is Imagine 2 or 3.
I'm not sure. It followed every single instruction. That is San Diego in the summer. Unicorn, fire out of its mouth, a human sitting on it, surfing off the coast of San Diego. Now, I want to highlight a very specific thing about this prompt. There were several different instructions in there, and there was one thing. So this concept is called compositionality within prompts, where you give it instructions on how things should be placed in an image. Initially, when diffusion models were around, they used to falter with this problem of compositionality, where if you asked it to, let's say, place a red cube on top of a blue ball, it would just do something else altogether. But this is a very complex problem of compositionality, and it got it right. So I want to highlight that as well.
I see.
Lastly, I mean, if it did this, I'm pretty sure it'll be able to do this as well. Or maybe it's just wishful thinking, I don't know. Let's see. Not bad at all. Yeah, good one. Right, so that's the demo. The notebook is obviously something I'm going to be sharing with you guys through QRs. So yeah. Coming back to my slides, there's not a lot of them left. There's like 2, 3 of them. Yeah, so you just saw what generative AI is like, right? These were just API calls. You could very well do them with curl, Postman, or whatever. But if you want to do it programmatically, you could also do it with like Java or JavaScript, Python, whatever. So that was that. You saw what happens. If you want to go further, feel free to go to this QR or just go to this link. It'll be able to take you to Google's official generative AI page, where you can check out other tools and other technologies that Google provides for helping you getting started with generative AI. This is, again, a side note, this is more specific to the Google Cloud side of things, not the Google only things. So it's more specific to like business use cases. Right, so that's that. We saw so many things today. That's why all of them are green, because now you all know all of that. Thank you. That's all for me. Feel free to scan slides. Feel free to get the collab. And also, just a bit of shameless self-promotion. I'm looking for summer 2025 ML internships. So, like, if you know anyone or if you have any, please let's talk. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, thank you so much. Where do I keep it? Where do I keep it? Over here?
Yeah, just put it there.
Try switching that off. Yeah, there we go.